The murder trial that has been taking place in Texas over the last 14 days, it came to an end yesterday, and the judge sent the jury out to deliberate. They deliberated late into the night, and they called it quits. They started again at 9 a.m. this morning, and they went for about 4 hours. Well, they came back with a verdict. Just to recap, Cason Allison, the young white boy, he was charged with murder of Joe Ramirez, a classmate. Back in 2022, they were set to graduate in May, but about a month and a half before that, they got into a fight inside the bathroom. Now, it was supposed to be after school, a 3-on-3 fight, but it ended up being a 2-on-2 fight. And witnesses say that Joe Ramirez was getting the best of Cason, and Cason pulled out a knife and stabbed Joe. Video footage in the school shows Joe run out of the bathroom, try to run to the nurse's office. He collapses in a pool of blood, and he died. Cason was charged with the murder, and that trial took 3 years to make it to court. Well, he was under house arrest. He initially had been given $1 million bond. The judge dropped it down to $150,000. He made it, and he's been under home arrest all this time. Well, after deliberations, as I said, the jury came back. Now, the judge sent them out yesterday and said you can find him guilty, if you find him guilty, either for murder by self-defense or manslaughter with the self-defense argument, or involuntary manslaughter. The jury could not agree on the first or the second, but they did agree on involuntary manslaughter, and that's what they came back with. That sentence carries 2 to 20 years. Now, he's been under house arrest for 3 years, so he may have time served and just get probated if he's 10 years, 15 years probation. But nothing was said of a previous criminal history. I don't think he does have one because I couldn't find it. But we'll see what he's given. More than likely, he may be given probation. Now, this is eerily similar to a case that's happening in Frisco, Texas with Carmelo Anthony, the young black kid who was attacked at a track meet by 2 twin brothers. He ended up stabbing one of those brothers, and now he's out on bond. His bond was $1 million, and the race baiters all across the nation came hating on him, saying that $1 million shouldn't be dropped. Well, the judge dropped it down to $250,000. Where is the anger in this case? Same thing. But the evidence shows in this case that Cason texted his friends the day before and said, I'm going to put Joe in the hospital. Well, Joe didn't go to the hospital. He went to the morgue. So my question is it selective anger or just racists that are getting all over social media trying to paint a racist picture? Because let's face it, kids make mistakes. Kids are not the most intelligent. There are some smart kids, but for the most part, kids are young, dumb, and full of some crazy thinking, right? The mind hasn't even finished developing until the age of 24. So are they responsible for their actions? The Supreme Court says that if they committed a crime at the age of 17, they cannot receive the death penalty because they were considered a child. Right? But so many times these teenagers who are 17, 18, 19 years old, they feel like grown folk. They feel like men and women, too big for their britches. And they're stupid and they make mistakes. It happens. In this case, 2 lives were lost. Joe, he'll never return home to his family, and they're at a loss. Cason, he's got to live with this on his record for the rest of his life. And that's a tragedy. But one last point that I want to make. We don't know what he's going to get, but when that verdict comes out as to his penalty, the penalty phase, I will touch on it and I will report on it. But in North Texas, up in Frisco with Carmelo Anthony and the twins, when and if this trial even takes place, because at this point he hasn't even been indicted. They're still doing an investigation. And from what the family attorneys have said, and the detectives in Frisco, that there's so much video footage, that video footage might not paint the twins in a good light. And a grand jury will look at this. So Carmelo Anthony is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But where is the selective rage? Where is the anger? A child took a knife, stabbed somebody. In this case, this is a white kid who stabbed a Mexican kid. Where's the anger? All those race baiters, all those haters, all those KKK that are online spewing hate, they're nowhere to be found here. Sad.